He's a best-selling author, a nationally syndicated radio host, and host of the Todd Starnes Show on Newsmax. He joins me now to share his brand new book, just in time for Independence Day, Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. Please welcome back to the show, Todd Starnes. Todd, thanks for being here. I'll get to your book in a moment, but I know you've been covering the events of this Israel-Iran conflict and the U.S. involvement. You've been critical of the idea of regime change in Iran, saying that we got into problems with this and we tried it back in 1979 in Iran. Tell us how so, and should the U.S. refrain from further involvement in this conflict?
Raymond, first of all, thank you for the invitation. Always great to hang out with you, and you've got a terrific audience. Yeah, I have been pretty critical of what's been happening in the Middle East. Look, I stand with President Trump. I think he made the right call here. The issue for Americans in Iran was this nuclear program. They've been chanting "Death to America" in the streets. I know MSDNC, the folks over there say, well, you know, "Death to America" doesn't really mean death to America. Well, it sure doesn't mean howdy do, come on over for some hummus and falafel. I'm taking them at their word. So I think again, we need to make sure that there were never going to be mushroom clouds over any major American cities. So I think the president made the right call here. As far as regime change goes, it hasn't worked for us. We just don't do regime change well. There's only one time in American history where it's actually worked, and that was the Revolutionary War. So I think really when it comes to Iran, and the Iranian people are beautiful people. You look at Iran pre-1979. Yes, there was a dictator, but he was a secular ruler. People of all faiths were able to worship freely in Iran. People were able to have jobs and get education. Women were allowed to go out into the public marketplace and be educated. All of those things went away. But the reality is, Raymond, if the Iranian people want freedom, they're going to have to do what our forefathers did, and they're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah. In one of the odder stories of late regarding this Iran-Israel conflict, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office, Todd, posted a message of support for the victims of the U.S. bombing of nuclear facilities in Iran, calling it a tragic event. The department deleted and apologized for that. But what does it tell you about the L.A. Sheriff's Department that they feel free, Todd, to weigh in on foreign policy on the wrong side, supporting an Islamic regime in Iran?
You know, it's a great point, Raymond, and you've seen this play out across the entire nation where Democrats are now siding with the Iranians. These are very brutal, dangerous people we're talking about here. These are people that want to destroy Israel, wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and people who want to wipe us off the face of the earth. And a lot of it goes back to this idea that we are considered to be infidels. So, look, it is a very dangerous game that the Democrats are playing. And again, I think it's really an illustration of Trump derangement syndrome gone wild, where their hatred of Donald Trump is so great that it would even, you know, discolor their feelings and opinions of this terrorist regime known as Iran.
A domestic terrorist targeted a Christian church in Wayne, Michigan. And the church had an armed security guard, Todd, and a deacon who ran into the would-be assassin with his Ford truck. But the shooter was killed by the security guard, by the way, ending what should have been or would have been a massacre. One person was injured. Why are we seeing these kinds of attacks on churches and synagogues happening with more frequency, Todd, in America?
Yeah, no, and that's what's horrifying about this. And I think we've come to understand that churches are soft targets, and it's really imperative for every church and synagogue in the nation to have a very strong and well-trained security team. It doesn't matter if you've got 50 people going to your church or 5,000. You need to make sure you've got a security plan and know how to execute it. I would recommend, based on what happened in Wayne, Michigan, that at least part of that plan should include a deacon who drives a Ford F-150 pickup truck.
Or two. Yeah.
Or two, yeah, exactly. But again, Catholic churches, Protestant churches, and synagogues, I will say in Memphis, we have a very large Jewish population. Every Saturday, I drive by the synagogues, and you can tell their security is up front and present, and they know that they're going to be well protected as they worship.
Todd, I want to move on to your new book, Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. It's out in stores now, just in time for Independence Day. Why did you write this book now? I mean, and what inspired you to make it a devotional?
Yeah, I normally write political books,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do something a little bit different. I'm a person of faith, and I really believe that God has blessed America. And so I wanted to take readers on a journey through the entire history of the nation. And we have some great stories about how God used the most unusual people to advance his work here in the United States of America. And isn't that the story of our God? Our great God is that he uses the most unusual, the least of these to accomplish great things. And we tell those stories in the devotion. My co-author, Michelle Cox, she has written devotion books for a Hallmark show called When Calls the Heart.
Mm.
And she has a lot of grandkids. I don't have grandkids, but she wanted us to write a book that would be an encouragement to the entire family. You can sit down, moms, dads, kids, or grandkids, and you can read these stories and learn about some of the great ways that God has blessed our country.
Todd, you're right about what defines us as Americans. Next year, we'll celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country. What's the one word that defines America in your estimation, and Americans, if you had to give it one word?
Freedom.
Mm.
We're all about freedom. And I think also that, and Dwight D. Eisenhower, I write in the book about Eisenhower. I believe he was actually our most religious president in modern political history. It was Eisenhower who was the only president who was baptized after Inauguration Day. Now, he's a Presbyterian, but we don't know if he was given the Baptist dunk or the Presbyterian sprinkle. The ceremony was private, but we write about his devotion to God, and he understood back in the 1950s the war with the communists was not a political war as much as it was a spiritual war, good versus evil. And so Eisenhower understood the importance of faith, and he made it okay for people to talk about their faith in public. In God we trust on our currency because of Eisenhower, the National Day of Prayer because of Eisenhower, and of course the words under God in the Pledge of Allegiance because of Dwight D. Eisenhower. So it's interesting, Raymond, when you look at his story, during his presidency, church attendance in America rose 20% thanks to that bully pulpit.
Incredible. That is incredible. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew about some of those things, but I didn't realize it all happened under Ike's watch. Each chapter in the book, Todd, you include a prayer, a lesson on liberty, and a few questions to help readers put this into application in their own lives. It's really a celebration of American values, of faith and family. Tell me what you want readers to come away with here.
Yeah, this is not a Debbie Downer book. As a matter of fact, we offer these questions. We call them Yankee Doodles, and we have liberty lessons, and we offer a patriot prayer. We want people to know about the greatness of their country and the good people in this country. We tell stories, for example, like the young men who defended Old Glory at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. We have a devotion about Riley Gaines and this young lady, a college athlete, taking a stand and making a difference. So yeah, this is a celebration of America, and we want our kids and grandkids to know as well that this is a country worth fighting for. This is the most exceptional nation on the earth, and this is a nation that God has blessed. And of course, we end the book with really a moving story about Ronald Reagan that many people don't know. But Reagan was a man who loved to share his faith in God with people. And we tell the story of how he shared his faith with his father-in-law, who was an atheist towards the end of his life. It's really an amazing, incredible, and inspiring book.
Yeah, well, your timing couldn't be better, Todd. The book is Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots by Todd Starnes and Michelle Cox. It's available in bookstores everywhere and online, and the Todd Starnes Show is always the highlight of my day. Todd, thank you so much for coming in, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Raymond.